This documentary explores how your mind shapes reality, how to create empowering illusions, and how to break free from the mental matrix you didn't know you were in. Stick around. It might just change how you see life.
How big is the universe? Vast beyond imagination. The part we can observe, a sphere 93 billion light years wide, is just the tip of the cosmic iceberg. And yet this enormous expanse makes up less than 5% of what truly exists. The rest, dark matter, dark energy, invisible forces that shape galaxies, bend light, and hold everything together, like invisible hands behind a cosmic curtain. But it gets stranger. Quantum physics tells us particles aren't fixed. They flicker in and out of existence, appear connected across galaxies, defying time itself. In our own minds, neuropsychology shows that what we call reality is just a simulation, stitched together by our brains, filtered by senses, shaped by expectation. So, if what we see is just a model, a reconstruction, is anything really out there? Thousands of years ago, ancient mystics had a word for it. Maya, the great illusion. They said the universe isn't something you walk through, it's something you dream. Because maybe, just maybe, the stars, the galaxies, space and time are not the stage we stand on. They are the stage we imagine. So the question is, what is real? Is life a dream? A simulation? An illusion? Do we truly see the world, or just a version we've created in our minds? What if I told you that the world you see, the trees, the buildings, the sky, the people, isn't really there, at least not in the way you think it is? Reality, a word we throw around every day. But have you ever stopped and asked, what exactly is reality? To understand this, let's zoom in, not with a camera, but with our mind. All the way down to the level of atoms, quarks, the building blocks of matter. What do we find? Nothing. Atoms are 99.9999999% empty space. The table you touch, it's mostly empty. Your body, your thoughts, all built on illusions of solidity. Quantum physics tells us this. In fact, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle says we can't even know both the position and velocity of a particle at the same time. Reality isn't fixed. It's probable, it's fluid, and influenced by observation. As physicist John Wheeler once said, no phenomenon is a real phenomenon until it is an observed phenomenon. Now enter Don Hoffman, a cognitive scientist who argues that we evolved not to see the truth, but to survive. In his book, The Case Against Reality, he says what we see is like a desktop interface, icons, not actual files. The icon is only a representation of what it contains, a useful illusion. To a spaceman, the Earth is a blue dot, but that's not what it is. Or is it? Take the blind spot in your eyes, the place where the optic nerve meets the retina. You don't see a hole in your vision because your brain fills it in, seamlessly, automatically, as if nothing's missing. Or think about that viral dress. Was it white and gold or blue and black? Millions of people saw the same image, yet saw two different realities. Why? Because we don't see the world as it is. We see it as we are. This is the scotoma effect, the psychological blind spot. We filter reality based on what we expect to see. And the gatekeeper of this filter is your reticular activating system, a network in your brainstem that decides what's relevant and discards the rest. Like a bouncer at an exclusive club, it only lets in thoughts, ideas, and perceptions that align with what you already believe. That's biology. That's survival. That's efficiency. Your brain avoids discomfort. It resists contradiction. It doesn't want the chaos of cognitive dissonance. So, it chooses the familiar. It sticks to the script. It favors patterns it already knows, even if they're outdated or limiting. You accept what fits your belief system, even if that BS is just a shortcut, not the truth. And so, the reality you live in, the people you trust, the ideas you defend, the world you swear is real, isn't out there at all. It's constructed by you, by your attention, your memories, your fears. Your brain doesn't show you the world. It shows you your world, a carefully edited version that makes sense to you. In the end, what we call reality is nothing more than a mental model, a simulation, an illusion. And maybe, just maybe, the only thing real is your experience of it. The Vedic sages knew it thousands of years ago. The world is Maya, a grand illusion, a cosmic dream. As Krishna told Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, the world you see is not what it appears to be.
Not what it appears.
Even modern neuroscience agrees. What we see is shaped by memory, mood, culture, even hormones. We don't see the world as it is. We see it as we are.
We see it as we are.
So, what if reality is not out there, but something we construct in here?
The constructs of the mind.
What makes humans different? It's not just language or intelligence, it's our ability to tell stories, from bedtime tales whispered in the dark, to ancient myths passed through generations. From religious texts to modern scientific theories, we've always made sense of the world by creating meaning. As early humans, stories were our survival tool. By the firelight, the young were told of saber-toothed tigers, not just as a warning, but as a tale, a narrative of what to do and what not to do. Through these stories, heroes were born. Caution was disguised as courage. Knowledge traveled not through facts, but through fables. And then, when there was nothing urgent to report, our minds kept creating. Imagination filled the silence. Stories turned from survival to symbolism. The storyteller became the shaper of worlds. Because meaning doesn't live in the outside world, it lives in the mind. And as stories shaped our imagination, imagination reshaped our stories. Each one infused with perception, and perception shaped by memory, emotion, context, and expectation.
We never just see reality, we see our version of it, narrated from within. And that's the power of story, not just to describe the world, but to define it. Think of your mind as a projector. You don't just see reality, you project it. We make sense of our world through stories. Suspicion is a story. Doubt is a story. So is overconfidence, misery, phobias, even love and hate. Your relationships, the ones you treasure, the ones you can't bear, are shaped by stories. In your mind, you're always narrating. They don't like me. These people accept me. He used to be kind. Now he's cold. But did they really change? Or did your story change? Was it your perception that shifted? Or have you simply started seeing what was always there? Maybe that friend, that partner, that colleague didn't transform at all. Maybe they were always that way. You just had a blind spot, a scotoma. Now your mind fills in the blanks with a new storyline. And just like that, your reality reshapes itself. To resolve the confusion, to quiet the discomfort of conflicting thoughts, your brain weaves new tales. In your imagination, heroes and villains are cast. Drama unfolds and meaning emerges. Because that's what you're really doing, trying to make sense of a world that's too complex, too uncertain. But is that the actual world, or just your version? A construct of imagination, built from assumptions, colored by bias, stitched together by memory and emotion. Your brain doesn't just process reality, it creates it, and the story never stops. Just like everything else you give meaning to, your relationships, your goals, your fears, your happiness too, is a mental construct.
You've either chosen it or conditioned your mind to believe in it. When you decide to see the good, you find it. And when you're searching for what's wrong, the cracks appear everywhere. If you're looking for proof that life is imperfect, there's no shortage of evidence. But if you're seeking signs that you're blessed, you'll find them too. Because your reality bends to your focus. Your mind is always filling in the gaps, painting the picture it thinks you want to see. And those blind spots, they begin to disappear the moment your intent becomes clear.
And this isn't just philosophy. Neuroscience backs it up. Studies show that our brain predicts what we see. It fills in gaps, completes patterns, makes guesses. As neuroscientist Anil Seth puts it, we're all hallucinating all the time. When we agree on our hallucinations, we call it reality. Our beliefs, our traumas, our moments of joy, they all shape the lens through which we see the world. But it's not just personal experience. We're surrounded by filters, subtle, powerful, and everywhere. Filters handed to us by marketers who taught us that a diamond means forever, that value is what they say it is. Filters from religion, dividing life into good and evil, right and wrong, giving structure, but also separation. Filters from governments, suggesting that politicians serve the people. A noble idea, but often far from lived reality. These filters frame our perception. They don't just influence what we see, they define how we see. They turn illusions into truths we rarely question. And that's why two people can live the same life, walk the same path, yet tell two entirely different stories. Two people witness the same car accident, and yet, when asked what happened, they tell two entirely different stories. Not just in details, but in emotion, in meaning, in blame. Even the people involved in the accident, the ones who lived it, recount different versions. Same moment, different realities. So what's real? Is it the event itself, or the story told about it? One event, multiple truths, which makes you wonder, is reality what happens? Or is it what we believe happened, because we are not living in the same reality? We think we're living in a physical universe, solid, objective, measurable. But in truth, we live in a universe shaped by the mind, a world built not from atoms, but from assumptions, beliefs, memories, and meaning. And so, the reality we inhabit isn't out there, it's within us. The universe you experience lives in your mind. The good news is that you are not just a mere observer, you are also the author.
Happiness or misery, both are illusions.
Is happiness real? Is suffering real? Of course it feels real. But where do these feelings come from? They come from interpretations, not just events. Two people can go through a breakup. One grows, one breaks. Same event, different story. Why? Because meaning isn't in the act. It's in the interpretation. They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But maybe beauty itself is just another illusion. Because we're not just storytellers. We're interpreters of the stories. Bending their meaning to fit what we want to feel, what we need to believe. We interpret so we can feel certain, so we can feel right. But every interpretation adds another layer. Illusions stacked on top of illusions. Even happiness and sadness. They're not absolute truths. They're stories we tell ourselves. And those stories can turn any moment into heaven or hell. You can carry anger, bitterness, self-loathing, and live trapped in a thinking built from pain. Or you can rewrite the script. Choose compassion, choose acceptance, choose to believe in the good illusions. Because that's the power you have, to choose the meaning, to shape the story. Because emotion follows thought. And thought follows belief.
In psychology, this is called narrative identity. We tell ourselves stories. I'm a success. I'm a failure. I deserve love. I am not enough. These aren't facts. They're scripts written by you over years. And sometimes, just like in the Matrix, we're born into stories we didn't write. Culture, school, media, they tell us what's good.
Be rich, be famous.
what's bad, what's worth perusing.
Be perfect.
Oftentimes, your script is pre-written. Study well, get a job, make money, get married, have a family, get old, and die.
But here's the truth. You can always choose your own script. You're not locked into the story you've been telling. You can rewrite it, reframe the pain, recast the struggle. Even misery can become the soil where growth takes root. Lose a job? It can be the start of finding your purpose. A heartbreak? It might just lead you back to loving yourself. Failure? It's often the teacher that success hides behind. A rejection letter can redirect you to a path you never considered, one that fits you better than the one you chased. An illness can slow you down just long enough to realize what truly matters. A betrayal can awaken your boundaries and remind you of your worth. You can turn loneliness into reflection, loss into gratitude, uncertainty into possibility.
You can choose better illusions that serve you. The story isn't set in stone. You can shift the meaning. You can choose to see through a lens that empowers you, not imprisons you. And in doing so, you don't just survive the story, you transform it. You change your personal reality and your personality itself. Your thoughts shape how you feel, moment by moment. And the powerful truth is, you can choose your thoughts, and in doing so, you can choose to feel better. You can focus on everything that's not working, the disappointments, the setbacks, the people who let you down, and let that spiral pull you into a vortex of blame, frustration, and helplessness. Or you can pause, take a breath, and choose one thought, just one, that shifts your direction. A thought that says, maybe I can try again. Maybe today can be different. You can't always control what happens around you, but you can choose how you respond. That choice, your attitude, is what creates your mental reality. And sometimes, all it takes is one better thought to open a door to a better life. As Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man, except the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude." So whether it's bliss or pain, remember, both are constructs and you are the architect. Both are illusions that you experience. But with a different narrative, the feelings can be altered and the pain transcended.
We are in the Matrix, so wake up and rewrite your story.
What is the Matrix? It's not just a movie. It's a metaphor for the invisible systems that shape our thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. We are born into a web of influences: religion, education, advertising, family expectations. They tell us who to be, how to think, what to want. But here's the secret: you can change the program. You can wake up. In spiritual traditions, this is called moksha, liberation. In psychology, it's called cognitive restructuring. In neuroscience, it's called neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself. Since beliefs create reality, and if you believe you're stuck, you'll stay stuck. If you believe you're free, your mind will start creating the path. As Osho said, the moment you recognize the illusion as illusion, it begins to dissolve. So the question is not what is real, but who is the author of your reality? You can rewire your human experience. You can choose new illusions. Science tells us neuroplasticity lets us rewire thoughts. Epigenetics shows that thoughts can affect the gene expression. Psychedelic therapy, with care, can dissolve rigid patterns. VR and meditation can simulate new ways of seeing things. But the real magic? It's awareness. When you begin to notice your thoughts, when you become aware of your patterns, something subtle but powerful happens. You begin to redesign them. You shift from living on autopilot to becoming a conscious creator, no longer reacting impulsively from the primitive parts of your brain. but instead pausing, reflecting, and responding from a higher place, the neocortex, the seat of reason and wisdom. With that awareness, you start living with intention. You wake with intention. You move through each moment with presence, not rushing through life but savoring it. The sounds, the sights, the stillness. And as your thoughts change, so does your identity. You begin to rewrite the script, not as a bystander, but as the author of your own story. In doing so, you find something deeper. You rediscover your worth. You remember your calling. And strangely enough, you return to the place where your life began, but now with new eyes. Because the person you think you are is just a story crafted over time, shaped by memory, experience, and belief. But that story isn't just yours. It's woven into a greater narrative, the story of all of us. In the wisdom of Vedanta, there is the Atman, the individual soul, and the Paramatman, the universal consciousness. And when the two meet, there's awakening, realization, bliss. You begin to see that everything is connected, that you are not separate from life, you are life. I am another you. You are another me. You and I are not separate. The love or hate I direct outward eventually finds its way back to me. This is the truth behind all stories, the quantum entanglement of being. You may walk in a body borrowed from nature, but your mind, your soul, dwells in the great web of existence. And in that awareness, you don't just live the story, you become the storyteller. So, what is reality? A projection, a perception, a construct of the mind. But that doesn't make it meaningless, it makes it powerful. As the Buddha said, with our thoughts, we make the world. The world is not outside you, the world is you. So go ahead, reconstruct your mind, reimagine your reality,